life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle, with Belle, with Belle. On YouTube starting very soon, so stay tuned. Belle is getting ready for you. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us. It's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle. Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life with Belle, starting soon.
Welcome to Thread Life with Belle on this rainy Monday. We've had rain, and it looks like you've got an overcast day in St. Louis. I hope y'all are staying safe. We have had a lot of tornadic weather here in Arkansas and just a lot of rain. Like it's going to be difficult to mow for probably a week because the ground is just so soggy. So I hope you're enjoying some studio time. What are we doing today? Well, today we are going to make, it's like I think the fastest, maybe one of the fastest things that you could make for a gift for yourself or for someone else, and it serves two purposes. So we're gonna make a needle book, but this also can hold your tea bags. If you're a tea drinker like me, if we leave one step off in this process, it actually holds your tea bags. And so this can make a great gift for any of your tea loving friends. It even works for my instant Starbucks. So when I travel, I don't mean to sound high maintenance, but I don't like hotel coffee at all. Don't like hotel coffee at all. And so I take the little instant Starbucks that you literally just mix with hot water, and it's like a really good cup of coffee. So I take that when I travel. So those fit in here as well because there's a pocket inside here. And I'll do the overhead in a few minutes so you actually can see. But this opens up and you can store your needles in here, and then there are pockets on either side. You can use your scraps for this. They are so simple to make. So I wanted you to kind of have something. You could do it with me if you want. So if you want and you're in your studio, you literally could cut these things right now. In the description box, it lists what you need, your size pieces that you need for this. So here's what you need if you're having trouble finding all that in the description box. 2 5x7 rectangles, 2 5x7 rectangles, as well as 2 5x7 pieces of fusible fleece or fusible interfacing. Now the fleece is going to make it a little more puffy and fluffier. If you use interfacing, it's going to be a lot thinner. You could use batting if you wanted. If you don't have fusible, you'll just need to put like a little bit of starch to keep it from shifting if you can't, or spray base to keep it from shifting if you can. You will need 1 6x7 inch rectangle, that's for the pocket, and then 1 4x5.5 piece of batting or fleece, and that is actually what goes in the center of our needle book. If you're making the needle book instead of the tea holder, then you'll put that here. So, and then you just need some ribbon. So this is vintage lace I have. You could use, I've used tomato twine before. If you wanted, you actually could just fold over a little piece of long fabric and make you a piece there if you need it. But if you've got any ribbon, that's really helpful. So this is what we're gonna make today, are these really cute, fast needle book slash tea pocket, little tea pocket holders, all right? Okay, and then if you stay with me to the end, I have a pretty big giveaway today, y'all. It's pretty big. So my friend Susan from Quilted Hearts, I have got her entire setup for winding your bobbin, winding your binding. So it's the whole system for making binding and then winding and storing it. So we've got the mat here. and I'll show you in a minute kind of how this works, where you actually make your binding. And then there's two size spools. There's the spool that's in this one, and then there is an extra large spool for if you have like larger binding. So this will be the giveaway today, this whole entire set. It's for here in the US for shipping reasons. I'll mail it for free. If you live outside the United States, then I'll have a PayPal link for you. You can email me and you'll just be responsible for the shipping if it's outside of the United States. So if you hang with me to the end, that is the prize for today, y'all. And then later also at the end, I have a couple things to show you after we're done with the needle book. So let's get started on this tutorial. I know, Susan, isn't that a great giveaway? It is a great giveaway for sure. Okay, let's get started here on the supplies that we need to make the needle book and or the little tea holder, okay? So you need, here's the fabrics I'm using. These are actually just leftover scraps. This is blushed houndstooth from Benartex, and I'll zoom in just a little bit here. Let me zoom down so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, this is leftover scraps from Benartex blushed houndstooth that I'm gonna use. It's the exact same colors of the sample here. Let me go ahead and open this up so you can see it. So I have the blue for the outside of it, and then I chose kind of the buttery yellow for the inside, and then I chose pink for the pocket. So this is one whole strip that goes across that creates two pockets. And then I have fleece in here, and this is non-fusible fleece that's in here. If you don't have fleece, you can use a piece of batting, and so that's there. So this is where you can put your hand needles, any kind of hand needles. I just stuck this here so you could see it a lot easier. Hey Samantha, you caught alive. Well, maybe you're off work today. A lot of people are off work today. So I thought, well, maybe those that haven't been able to be live with me could be with me today. So yay, welcome Samantha, I'm glad you're here. And Susan is also a Threadmaster. So Susan, thank you again, we're glad you're here. If y'all are like, what is Threadmaster? What is Thread Sprout? It is the YouTube subscriber membership that I have here. And for those, we are actually working on some fun emojis specifically for you guys. Quilt Husband's working on those for me. You'll have to be able to use. But the big thing is there will be private videos that you have access to. One of the big ones that'll be happening here in a few months is to get to see my fabric collection before anyone else does. And so that will be something that's kind of a treat for you guys. So Quilt Husband will drop the link. You don't have to join that, but if you want for a couple bucks a month to support my channel, you absolutely can. There will be some pretty big giveaways when I launch my fabric collections each time. So you'll be able to be part of that as well. Okay, let's get started with this, y'all. So here's what you need. If you're in your studio and you want to cut these things really quick, you actually could make it with me. For those of you that watch the recording, a lot of people will watch this later. You can also look in the description box for all the supplies of everything that I'm using today, as well as the sizes of all of the fabric requirements. One quick thing. So if you don't want to make a needle book, you want this to be a holder for your tea bags, or also like me, I do tea and I do the instant Starbucks packets. This actually will hold like 2 or 3 on each side. So I can hold 6 tea bags on each side. You just leave off this step. You just don't include the insert here. So this is like a twofold project, and they make great gifts for any of your sewing friends. These make great gifts if you're going to retreats. I know I host retreats here at my retreat center about 10 miles from where I'm at. If you're curious about that and you're new to my channel, Quilt Husband will drop the link in for you. You can watch the video of the whole retreat center there, and groups come, and lots of times not only I leave a gift, so you guys get a welcome bag with goodies, but lots of times retreaters will bring gifts for each other. This makes a really cool one, a quick one that you can, whip up several of these really quickly, or you can make these as gifts throughout the year to hold tea or coffee for those that like to travel with their own teas or their own instant Starbucks coffees. You actually could even go ahead and put their special teas or their coffees inside here and just give them as a great gift. If someone is sick, it's really helpful to have some of this is for ginger, this is the ginger nausea tea. Sometimes I have to drink this when I fly if I get a little bit nausea. a little bit nauseated. Or if you've got friends that travel a lot, maybe you've got a partner, a spouse, a friend that travels, great gift. Just stick you some instant Starbucks packets in there for them, and even some creamer if you wanted, the little creamer packets you could put in there. So it's just a really quick gift if like you're like, oh no, I need to make something. I've got tons of scraps and it's made with love and it takes you literally no time to make one of these. So that's what we're gonna do together, all right? All right, so let's set that aside and go over what you need. This, my friends, literally is it, okay? You just need 7 things, all right? You need your piece for your front, and that is a 5x7 rectangle. A piece for your back, that is a 5x7 rectangle. And that could be the same color. It doesn't have to be, you know, you can do whatever you want, all right? I know, Charlotte, it's a duo project, right? It's totally a duo project. Tea bag, coffee wallets, needle book, right? That's the best way to do things, I think, because when things can be used multi-purposed. And then also, after you have the 5x7 of the rectangle for the front and the back, you also need 2 5x7. I use fusible fleece, okay? There's a bumpy side on the back. This is Heat and Bond fusible fleece. And it gives it a little bit of puff. So you can see that it's not like flat. It's got a little bit of a puff to it, which I like. But if you don't want a little bit of loft, then you can just use like stabilizer. You could use fusible interfacing. It doesn't have to be the fleece. And if you don't have any of that, you actually could just use thin batting if you wanted to, okay? All right, so you'll need that. You also need a 6x7 rectangle. This is going to be our pocket. We'll be folding this in half, and this will make up our pocket. So we have a nice clean top part of our pocket, which is really helpful. So this is like the fastest way I have found to make these. This is my favorite way to make them. And then lastly, you need a 4x5.5 inch piece of just regular fleece or batting, and that is what you'll use to actually put your needles in. So that is this part right here, okay? And lastly, 12-inch piece of ribbon, or I've used, this is lace, vintage lace, so I will collect when I go to flea markets and thrift stores, I'll collect vintage lace and use it for stuff like this. I've also used tomato twine. Tomato twine works also, so anything. And if you even just wanted to cut up fabric and, you know, just kind of fold it over a couple of times and stitch it, you actually could do that if you're in a pinch and you don't have anything pretty. Like I say, make lovely things. So I think the vintage lace makes them pretty lovely. That's all you need. That is all you need for this. Now, if you don't want to make it as a needle book, you'll leave off this part right here. You won't use your batting, you won't use your fleece, and you've got a needle book and you just stuff it with your little lovely things there too. All right. These pockets will hold your snips if you've got small snips. You even could put your thimble in here because this is really foldable and malleable. It's going to kind of be a little more thick, but you know, you could put that in there. You could put other just little bits that you use, right? Whatever makes you happy. Thanks, Samantha. Yeah, you know, quilt has been on my back. Y'all, I did a live yesterday because I was out of town Monday, so I couldn't do it Monday, and I had a really rough, stressful week, so my back was kind of out yesterday. It is better, Samantha. Quilt Husband rubbed it with like the special back cream, so it's better. It's still a little tender, but thank you. That's really sweet of you for checking in on my back. I also have a mat down here. It's like a special standing mat that helps with standing for long periods of time, so you're sweet to check in. Thank you. All right, here we go, friends. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this over to the pressing station. We're going to take our front and our back piece, 5x7s, and we're going to take our fusible fleece. If you've got the fusible, we're going to go to the pressing station and we're going to press. So let's take that over there and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and take my pocket with me too because we need to press that. So let's get all of that done over here at the pressing station. Whoops, I forgot. I was working on... I'm making a memory pillow for a friend whose husband died, and I made one for her. This is for her son of the ties, her husband's ties, and I was working on that to try to finish another pillow, so let's get that out of the way. If you're wondering about how to do that, there is a live that I did on that. So I kind of actually, if I remember correctly, I think I kind of missed a step and had to like go back and explain on that, but there is a live on that one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to put bumpy side down, so wrong sides together. So bumpy side to the wrong side of the fabric. And I like to press from the fabric side because this is a little thinner than pressing through from this side. That's just my preference. So we're going to press that fusible on there. And you just hold for, about 10 seconds on both of these. All right. Is anybody doing this with me? I'm curious to know. It can be a little hard, like, to do it together. I know sometimes with tutorials I stop and start, right? So I can kind of see and stop when I'm doing things. But this is such an easy one. I think we could do it together if you were cutting your fabrics while I was kind of talking. If I've got any new folks with me today, I would love if you would subscribe to the channel and like the video today. If you like it, that always helps grow my channel. This is a fairly new channel, or at least the lives are new. Those are new. I've had the channel for a while, but I'm doing lives anywhere from 1 to 3 days a week. I average really about twice a week because sometimes I'm doing classes at guilds or I'm out of town for one or both of my businesses. So I would love for you to subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell when you see I'm going to have a live, it'll alert you. All right, that's all we do here for now at the pressing station. This is our pocket, this is our front, and this is our inside. So let's go over and I'll show you what to do next. Oh, Shelly, you're making the River Glen pillow. Were you on live the other day when I did that pillow? I don't know. For those of you that didn't see it, I'll grab it. So you were like, what is the River Glen pillow? It's a cathedral window pillow. And I did this one on my live yesterday. I actually quilted it. So this is the River Glen pillow. And it's my River Glen pattern. And it teaches you how to make cathedral windows. And I quilted it with everybody. It's got an envelope. I showed y'all how to make the envelope backing. But I'm waiting for my pillow form. My pillow form won't be here for a couple days. So I'm excited, Shelly. You'll have to let me know. Send me a picture or something. If you're on social media, tag me and I will share it. Okay, so then our next step is to decide, okay, which color do I want to be on the inside? Which one do I want to be on the outside? I think this time I'm going to swap them. I did this one blue. I think I'm going to swap them this time, and I'm going to do the buttery yellow for the outside. So the blue is going to be my inside. So what you're going to do is you literally just take your pocket that you've folded over. We folded this over where we've got the raw edges on the sides and at the bottom. And Susan, you have me out in your garden with you? Oh, so I'm on your, like in your earbuds on your phone? That is so, I'm so glad you like to follow along, that you would take me out in your garden with you. That's fun, thank you. Okay, so we've got our pocket on there, and then you're gonna take your, I'm using lace. Now, you get to decide on this one, okay? This depends on like how, I don't know, what annoys you or what doesn't. If you line the ribbon up here, it's gonna be even with the edge of your pocket. But when you do that, it's not completely centered on your needle book. It's up just a little bit more than the center of the needle book. So it's up to you. If you want to put it down a little more, you can, but I find I tend to sometimes need to kind of measure to make sure it's exactly right. So I usually tend to put that lace right there, but you do what works for you. So you can either do it here. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. You can either put it here or you can come on down just a little bit. Just make sure that it's the same on both sides. So I'm just going to take a pin and we're going to pin this in place. And it can be a little harder to pin in place. I actually have a hard time pinning it in place when it's the tomato twine. But when it's like lace or ribbon, it's easier to pin. So we're going to pin, this is our 12-inch piece. We're going to pin that there. All right. Then, this is where you need your scissors. to find the center, to cut, we just want to cut our ribbon in half. That's all I'm doing here. So I'm just going to bring them together and pull it all the way up here to the top. And I'm just going to snip it so that that's even. That's how I do it. Just kind of hold the sides down here and snip it in half. All right. So those are snipped in half. And you're just going to, basically I crisscross mine in there because we're going to be sewing this other piece on top of this one. So you just want to make sure that the ribbon, if you keep it at 12 inches, it's not going to come over and interfere with your seam lines here and accidentally get sewn in. So no worries there on that. Okay, then you are going to take, this is going to be the outside of mine, and you're going to place it on top, right sides together, so pretty sides together on top of this, here like this. And then because this is kind of thick, I like to use my clips. So that's what I'll be using. Now, you can decide if you want your opening to be at the top or to be at the bottom. I tend to put mine at the bottom because it's a little less visible where you've closed that hole there. But I just line mine up on my mat here. So this is, like I said, it's 7 inches. I use my water soluble. You can use whatever you need to mark. And I mark a 3-inch opening. So I just look for my 3 inches and I just mark here to here. And that's what we'll need to be able to turn this right side out. So I mark that first. And then I use clips because this will shift, I have found, if I don't clip it. So I usually just do 1 clip on each side. Yeah, Samantha, this is an easy one. I also called projects like this a palette cleanser. Like if you've worked on a big quilt or a big project and you just need to do something little, and you can make some of these and actually have them ready. You know, if you're in flow state and you're like, I'm just going to sit and make a bunch, you've got them ready to give as gifts throughout the year, either as needle books or as tea and coffee wallets. So here we go. We got that. Now we're going to head on over to the sewing machine and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way around. But you're going to want to start here at this first line that I've marked where our opening is. We're going to start there, back stitch, and sew all the way around a 1/4 inch, stop here and back stitch. So let's head on over to the machine and do that. Now I noticed yesterday that the lighting was off a little bit over here, so I know the color might look a little yellow to you all, and we've got to kind of figure that one out. So I just wanted to say the color might look slightly different. Okay, so here we go. I need to change my setting. On this machine, I can do a start reverse stitch when I start, which is handy. I'm using the DX 4000 Juki. And you can do a lock stitch, you can do a start reverse stitch, or nothing. It just takes off. So we're going to pivot. And because you've pinned that in place, that's not going to shift on you. So then I'll just slide out that pin. Keep sewing. And we'll pivot again. I use a knee lift, so if y'all are like, why isn't your hand moving? I don't have to reach back here and lift that lever up every time. And yes, this live will be posted later. So if you can't make it now or you want to make it later, all of my lives immediately post after they're over. So you can watch these recordings later. I know I have some subscribers there in South Africa, and right now for them it is 8:30 at night over there. So sometimes they will watch my shows that I do like in the evening or later. They'll watch the next day. All right. And then we're going to backstitch here. And this feature also lets me, when I hit the backstitch button, it'll backstitch and then it automatically cuts the thread for me, which is nice. All right. So that's what that's going to look like. Now you're going to grab your scissors. Make sure that you've you know, sewn everything. There's no holes there or anything. And then you snip your corners just like you would a tote bag you're making. Snip those corners there. This will make it easier for you when you're turning this right side out for those corners to poke out when you use your point turner. All right. Put those needles up and my scraps. And let's turn this right side out. Now you can use a chopstick. This is actually a chopstick. Or I have a point turner that is really, it's thicker, it's wider from Modern American Vintage. Sometimes you'll see me use it, it's wooden. But because this is so small, I tend to use this. Now, I know sometimes people will say, just use a blunt pair of scissors. Well, when I first started quilting, y'all, and I did that, I can't tell you how many times I poked through my corner. So I don't suggest using scissors to poke out your corners. But you do what works for you, okay? I just have ruined stuff doing that. Then we're gonna turn this right side out. Now you may think, oh no, I've grabbed the wrong pieces in here when I've turned this right side out. It doesn't matter if you open it holding these two, or if you open it holding these two right here, which is what I'm gonna do. You can, when you flip it right side out, you're able to adjust that, so that's not a problem. Alice, you're in Scotland. All right, Alice. Hey, Alice, you won at the very start of all this a prize. I believe it was you. And I think I sent you something to Scotland. Did you ever get your package? There's always that danger of stuff like going overseas and it not making it. So let me know if you ever got whatever that prize was, because I'm remembering your name and I'm remembering Scotland and all of that. So let me know. All right, so we're just flipping this right side out, y'all. Get my point turner. And then this is where you poke those corners out right here. Like this. And I just love these. Like I said, they make great gifts, whether it's for a retreat. I don't know if I ever finished that story. I started out at the beginning. But the retreats I host here, lots of times they will bring each other gifts, especially if they've not seen each other a while. I have a lot of groups that come from different states and they all meet up together because they live, you know, in surrounding states, and they bring each other gifts. It's super sweet. And this makes a good one to make for your quilty friends. Or you could bring them ones where it's the tea bag and the coffee. All right, so we've got those corners poked out. And now we're gonna go over to our pressing station. This is really important, this next step, I find, to make sure that everything is folded over nicely and, as I call it, in its home where it should be. Double check all those corners there. All right, so this is where you're gonna fold a 1/4 inch under where that opening is, all right? And I go ahead and start there when I press and get that all even. And steam can be helpful on this because you it's a little thick, right? Because you've got your fusible fleece. So I go ahead and press all the way around, and I've made sure that all of that was turned and none of the fabric was caught up in there with that point turner. Just make it nice and flat because we're going to be doing an 1/8 of an inch top stitch all the way around the needle book. And that moved just a little bit. Ooh, that's hot. Y'all, I have these little things. I don't know why, I always forget to put them on until I burn my fingers. They're super handy if you need to get your iron really close to your fingers. It actually comes in a pack for all of them. But sometimes I forget to use it. Okay. And then I'm gonna iron the front, press the front as well. See how nice and flat that is? Ooh, see, I didn't put it on the third one. I need to get those other ones out. I usually just use the two, but that steam will get you. I don't usually have trouble unless I have the steam on. Go ahead and press the ribbon there. All right. Now we're gonna take this over and we're gonna sew an 1/8 of an inch top stitch all the way around here. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave my patchwork foot on because it's not really going to matter for this. And I like to start right before where that opening is, down at the bottom. Now you can choose to sew it this direction, or you can flip it over and sew it this way. If you have trouble with your tension, I find that, you know, it depends on which side you want to see more that might have a little tension issue, but it's completely up to you if you flip it over and sew it from the top or from the inside. So I'm gonna go about 1/8 of an inch here, and I've got some marks here on my plate. And I'm gonna use my stiletto. I've got 2 stilettos. Where's my other one? I've got a 6-finger stiletto. I think I packed that in my stuff when I was teaching the other day. I didn't take it out. So you'll sew 1/8 of an inch all the way around to close that up, but also it really keeps everything flat. It's just a nice finish on it. Make sure your ribbon is out of the way. If that's caught underneath there, you'll accidentally sew it. Since I have that patchwork foot on, that little lip right there wants to grab the ribbon. Guess I could have changed the foot, but I didn't. All right, we'll pivot again. Come around that corner. Susan, I forgot to engage my dual feed. I was quilting something last night and I didn't have it on, and I forgot to re-engage it. There we go. That dual feed basically, y'all, is like having a walking foot on. But I'm not used to having it. It's kind of fancy because I didn't have it on my semi-industrial Juki that does a straight stitch, and I still forget it. But see, when I engaged that, it took right off rather than me having to kind of push it a little bit. All right, there we go. Okay. I'm just gonna cut those loose strings there. You could put a label on it if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So there's your nice top stitch. It's all really flat. All right, so we're gonna go back to the pressing station again. But this time, we're gonna grab our piece of batting and our clover marking pen or whatever you use. And I fold it in half to find the center. So go ahead and fold it in half. And this is where that steam comes in handy again. Just press that down really flat so you'll have a nice center there. So when we open that up, we can see where our center is. We'll have to press it again. And I'm gonna press that there, but I'm not gonna press that top part. I didn't really have to press it all the way, but I wanted to have the center there. And this is not fusible, so don't accidentally use one that's fusible, but you can use batting. For this one, I'm just gonna actually mark this with my pen. I don't wanna make it really flat and press all that down. So I'll open that up. Go ahead and mark where that line was and where this one is. And then we're going to take this over and we're going to stitch this down in the middle. So you'll line those up for it to be in the center of your needle book there. All right, let's take that over and stitch that down. Now I am going to change my foot because this little patchwork foot sometimes gets kind of caught when I'm sewing this on. So I'm going to change this out here. All right. And we're just going to stitch down the middle. Do a back stitch. And we'll just stitch right down the middle. and back stitch again. And there you go. And then I spritz that with a little bit of water, and that mark actually will go away. So let's do that. Grab my water bottle here. Just a little spritz there. Ta-da! That goes away. Look at that. There we go. And then I usually will take this over and give it like another press, you know, again, like one more time right here. I'll go ahead and do it. But you need to do that spritz before you iron. You don't want to get heat on that marker. And it looks like I've got another little string there to snip. Voila, y'all, look at that. There's your needle book. Just get your pins, and now of course this is not like a needle that you would stitch with, but you probably can't see it. I was afraid you wouldn't really be able to see those really well. So here's a big one. But there you go. There's your needle book, and you just tie a little bow on the side of it, and you're done. And I actually, I have beginner English paper piecing kits for those that want to start. And when time permits, sometimes I actually put these in there. Other times I buy ones that are like, they almost look like little, I'll show you one. They're actually magnetic. If I've got one handy. They're magnetic and they hold your pins. So sometimes I will use these. This is Make Lovely Things. And this is a magnet here, and your pins actually stick to it. So I have those sometimes that I use, but if I have time, I'll use these. So these actually are both gonna go inside an EPP kit. So these are really handy to throw in if you do handwork. But like I said, if you don't want to use this for that, you actually could just skip this step right here and use it for a gift for tea bags or coffee, right? Too cute, right, Gina? They are, and they're easy. They're just quick and easy little gifts to make. They make, I don't know, you probably could use it for other things. I think little girls might like it to have in their little purses. And, you know, I know when I was little, I liked having little wallets and things like that. That would be super fun. And this is really, I think, a good beginner little pattern for if you sew with your kiddos or your grandbabies or your great-grands. I think this would be a great little beginner project to do with your little loved ones that you have. I know I taught some, well, I shouldn't say I taught them. There's a summer school teacher in Missouri that used my quilt journal cover pattern with her kids in summer school. And they had me on Zoom one day to kind of be part of all of it. And so kids need smaller things to be able to work on. So I think this would be a great project. And you can just, you know, you've got tons of scraps. As long as they're 5 by 7, you're good to go, right? Okay, friends. Well, that is our needle book wallet, our needle book booklet, our coffee wallet, whatever you want to call these things. There's all kinds of names for them, but that is the way I like to make them, that are super fast and easy. If you've got a different way of making them, I'd love to hear how that goes. All right, so for those of you that came just for the tutorial, that is that, but I have other things to kind of to show the rest of y'all if you want to hang out with me for a bit. And then if you stay to the end, I'm going to do that giveaway I showed y'all of the, oh, I want to show y'all this. Let me open this stuff up and kind of show it to you a little bit. I won't open one of them that's like not really resealable, but I'll show you what this is. It's called Winding Ease. And I will give a disclaimer. If you have an Aliso iron, it doesn't really work well, because unless you have one of the older ones where you can turn the switch off and the iron will stay down, you need your iron to stay down on this mat here. So this will be the giveaway today at the end. So you got this silicone mat here, and you actually feed your binding through it. Let me see if I've got a little piece of binding here in my little trash bin. I do, y'all. Look at this, I do have a piece. So the way this would work, and I can't really show you very well because, like I said, I have an Aliso and the iron pops up, and I can't not have it pop up. So you fold this over to get it started. Put it through there like this. And then just pretend your iron is sitting on top of this. And you're able, as you pull it through, for your bonding to stay in place like this. All right. But like I said, I tried it out, and because I have an Aliso, yeah, so the mini, yeah, you could use a mini. You could use a mini on it if you wanted to, because it doesn't go up and down. It doesn't go up and down on it. But I decided to go ahead and give it away. So this goes with this, and then let me show you the spool winder on here. I'll put that back in here. Yeah, and if you have the coral mini, it'll match. Christy, you have one of these? Okay. So here, this is how this works. This right here clamps onto your, let's see, let's imagine that this is the edge of your table. It clamps onto the edge of your table. And then there's this little clamp here, like this, that once you get your bonding started, you clamp it on like that. And then there's the lever here, and you wind it. So you'd wind it up like this. Or if you've got, this is the extra large, this is for 2 3/4 wide, for removable flange. This is for removable flange. So if you need like to make bigger binding, you've got that goes with it, or it comes with this one. And when you're done winding it on here, you just squeeze the end right here, and then this pops off. And then this can fit, if you've got an extra spool on your sewing machine, like a spool holder, it can fit on top of there, and then you just pull out your binding as you put it on your quilt, or you can just store it. Either way. So that is how that works. And it's like the whole set. So somebody is going to get this at the end of the show today. All right, so some of y'all are working on quilts today, it sounds like, huh? I figure out how to put that back in there. Somebody was doing a baby quilt, is that right? Or a quilt for a little one? Well, that's what I was doing last night, and I'm going to show you. I got it finished, y'all. So those that have been with me the last, I don't know, several weeks, you've seen this as a process. So when I was at H&H Americas, I did a demo. This is my Friendship Blooms pattern, and this is a scrappy version. I did this actually with a layer cake. I have a friend that's having a baby in July, and so this is Friendship Blooms, the baby size. And I actually made each of these blocks as a demo when I was at H&H, and I was like, I'm gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm gonna use these blocks as a demo, and they're gonna go in the baby quilt. So there's all those. So it's really scrappy. Part of me was like, there's one yellow that makes me feel a little weird because the rest are all blues, but it's scrappy, so it is what it is. But I quilted it last night on my King Quilter, and I actually just did stippling on here. Let me back this up a little bit and see if you can see. I just did stippling on it, nothing fancy, but I used my King Quilter sit down, and it made it pretty easy to do that. And then here's the back. I used little stars for the back, and I've decided to use this yellow binding since that one block was really yellow. I was like, I'm gonna pull in more yellow. So I'm going to use, this is all from Benartex. This is called Safari. And this is a collection there. It's got like little jungle animals, like sloths and lions and monkeys. It's super cute. And here's what's funny. My friend, they're having a little girl, but she said, I don't want everything to be pink. Like, honestly, I just want her to like whatever color she likes. So I showed this to her. And I said, well, I've got this layer cake, and the theme is going to be animal themed in her bedroom. And so she's like, absolutely. Like, these don't have to be, you know, the whole girl boy color thing. She's like, I don't want to dictate what color that, you know, she needs to love or not love. So needless to say, this is what she's gonna get. So I threw some yellows in there. And then I did a label before the show that's gonna be yellow that'll be on the back that's got her name, and it just says July 2025 and that I made it. So that was what I did last night. So the rest of this afternoon I'm gonna put the binding on, and that'll be really sweet, I think, for her, and send that off to her. And y'all, let me tell y'all, I decided to actually use fleece for the batting instead of batting. It's gonna be kind of warm, right? You think here in Arkansas, July through September are pretty hot here, and at least through the middle of September. So this one will be easier where it's not so heavy on the baby, because I tend to use a thicker Supreme, like premium batting, and it's thicker. It's 100% cotton. So anyway, I went ahead and used fleece so it would be a little thinner for the summer months. But this is a 40 by 40, the Friendship Blooms, because it has the borders around it. So it does make it a little bit bigger, but these are large blocks. These blocks are 18-inch blocks, and then you add the 2.5-inch borders to it. Oh, it looks like Quilt Husband dropped the pattern in there. So if you're wondering about it, it comes in 4 sizes. There's the tote pillow size, and then there's the baby size. Then there is a small lap and a large lap. So that pattern was a labor of love for any of my testers. Sometimes Lisa's on here. She's one of my testers. We all got a lot of practice with the scrappy version of figuring out the fabric, you know, making sure I had the fabric requirements right and all that kind of stuff. But this is an easy one to make. These are not curved. You don't do any curved piecing this. These are applique flowers that go on top of your pieced block. So I actually used a blanket stitch all the way around here on my machine, and you just applique those right on top of the block. So call it a cheater, but I'm all about, like, it looks like it was complicated, but it's a confident beginner pattern. So that is what I'm gonna work on later today. And then I wanna show y'all something else because I need to get your opinion. I actually like people's opinion sometimes, especially with ideas. Okay, so I got, these are silk, real silk remnants. Okay, these are real silk remnants that I got, and they're all, you know, and kind of, they may look red to you guys, but these are actually an orange, all kinds of shades of like rust and oranges and kind of corals. And I was thinking of making a patchwork scarf out of them, but here's the deal, y'all. The only time I've ever sewn with silk is the ties. When I do the memory tie pillows, I've not sewn with silk before. So I'm a little nervous about doing a patchwork out of this, because see, look how, I don't know if y'all can see. Can you see? This is pretty thin. You can kind of see through it, but isn't that beautiful, the polka dots? Yep, they're all remnants from, I think it was like, it was like a factory that makes silk scarves, and these were like remnants left over. So I really want to make a patchwork out of it. I may leave this one out. This one that's got the black. I don't personally love black in quilts at all. Black, I like black if I'm wearing it in clothes because it's slimming, but I don't love it so much for quilts. So, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let's see what you think. There's some black in it, but it's only on the ends. It's not in the rest of it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this one out or not. But anyway, what do y'all think about making a patchwork? And I do have silk thread. So I do have the silk thread that I could use. But I don't know if I should do some type of interfacing on the back of this, because I still want it to be like soft and flowy. I want it to be like really soft and flowy, and I'm afraid it's going to be a little firm if I do that. So I'm thinking about maybe just using really a lot of starch. What do y'all think? And just go for it and try it. But yeah, I want to make a for fall. So anyway, this came in recently in the mail, and I didn't know if any of you have ever made a silk scarf before, like a patchwork, but I'll let you know how it goes. That's the plan. But if you have before and you have any tips besides using plenty of starch alternative, silk thread, we'll see how this goes. And I think I'm going to make it reversible. So I'll make it where I make the front, the top, and the back, and then turn it right side out. And I might do some hand ties in there with some pearl cotton. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I kind of want it, I don't want to quilt it because it won't feel soft and flowy. I'm afraid it'll be a little too stiff. But okay, Samantha, you think it'll look great? Well, we'll see. It's going to be an experiment, but I really don't have a lot of room for error or to mess up on this, y'all. I don't. So I need to make it work. But yeah, silk. So I don't sew clothes really. I'm just now dabbling in the quilt coat thing, and I do have 2 patterns. I don't know, did I show y'all what I'm going to attempt to make with my new fabric collection? These are the 2 patterns. So this is, let me zoom in. This is the patchwork skirt, and it is by Annie Smith. And I thought, this is probably not going to be too difficult. I don't know what this said. Oh, the blue brushes can clean my, oh, okay. She gave me some little brushes to clean my machine. Anyway, this is it here. This is a patchwork skirt that I was really wanting to make. Oh, it's not a booklet. It's like, okay. These are a little different. When I do my patterns, mine are all like stapled, like a real booklet, but here's what we've got. So that's the pattern. So I'm gonna dabble and try to do the bespoke patchwork skirt when my new fabric comes in, but I am gonna practice with something else first so I don't mess that up. And then here's the other one. This is called the brand is Sew House 7. And this is the most expensive pattern I've ever bought, $25. But I'm gonna make this. It's called the Savi Sundress. And I need to try making this next month because I wanna wear it for summer. But because I'm pear-shaped, it's always best for my waist. I do better in empire waist, like skirts or dresses. So I'm gonna do the elastic up here at the top. The back, I'm not crazy about how far the back comes down. But one of my friends said that I actually could try to make the front also be the back, and it could come up maybe a little further because I don't want my bra strap, that's a lot of skin. I don't know about all that showing. So you saw, yeah, Charlotte, I don't know if this was the exact pattern. There's lots of patchwork patterns at H&H. So I don't know if this was that exact one. I kind of liked this one because the patches were bigger. I'll have to look and see, but these look like they're about 5-inch squares, so they're not teeny tiny. But y'all, I'll let you know how this goes. This is gonna be Belle's attempt to make something besides the jean jacket quilt coat, which was really only the sleeves and a patch on the back. I still have one that's cut up, and the pattern literally I cut out as an extra large, and it's a 3X. Those pieces are the size of a 3X. I put it all together. Quilt husband put it on, and it actually fit him, and it was a little too big on him. So I had to unpick everything, and I'm gonna have to cut it down to really a small, and I don't wear a small, for it to really be a large. So anyway, Belle's kind of dabbling a little bit in garment sewing. I think especially since I'm gonna have my own fabric, I wanna have some clothes and some things made out of it. So that's the plan. One more thing I'm going to show you guys, for those of you that are sticking around, is a little bit of an unboxing. So Benartech sent me some more fabrics, and this is a collection that if you like solids but you want something with texture and a little bit more to it, let me zoom out a little bit. This is Whisper Weave, is what it's called. It's by Nancy Halverson. And I want to show you what it looks like. So here's all the colors. It's like the rainbow, except there was no purple in it, which I like because I don't really care for purple. I like purple if it's like a plum and it's like a muddy plum. That's pretty good. Hey, Josh. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Oh, you hoped I'd have a live today? Yeah, well, I did because I figured a lot of people might be off work today and they might be home. Anyway, this doesn't have purple in it, so I was glad. And I'll show you so you can see kind of it's like a weave. This is the print to it. Let's see if I can get up close. Let me go over to the sewing machine. The color might look a little off over at the machine because we got to fix something on the setting. It looks kind of yellow, but this is the print Whisper Weave. So if you like solids, or you want to use solids but not really, and you want some texture to it, Benartex has some really great basics that are not completely solids. Yeah. And speaking of, for those, I can actually show y'all. Let me show y'all. Benartex has got brand new colors, y'all, of solids. So I want to show them to you. They've added, I think, 50 solids, and it was in the lookbook, so I can show them to you. So let me go grab it. I'll go grab it for you so you guys can see the new solids. It's kind of a big deal. It's really a big deal. I'll go grab it. Quilt Husband was going to get it for me, but I don't want to accidentally grab the one that's my collection and ruin the surprise. Y'all can't see that yet, but let me grab these. Okay. So let me show you their new solids here. Okay. If you've never used Benartex solids, I want you to be able to see what they are and give them a try. They're really soft. They're really nice to work with. Whoops, let's get that out of there. See, there was something in there. You could have seen the collection. Okay, here we go. So here's the colors that they've had for quite a while. This is and they're called Superior Solids. So pretty good collection here, but they've added even more than all of these. Oh, when we were talking about purple, the only purple that I really don't mind is I kind of like this kind of a muddy, it's like a lavender color. This one is pretty good, but otherwise I don't really care for a lot of other purple. Do y'all have a color you just don't care for? For me, it's purple, and in quilts, black. Those are the two that I very, very rarely ever use. And then here's all their other basics. So they've got burlap, they've got shadow blush, color weave, they've got a pearl essence. Anyway, y'all should check some of that out. But here's the new solids for 2025. Make sure I don't have anything in here. Show anything I'm not supposed to show. This was in their lookbook at H&H Americas. So the public didn't really get to see that, but y'all got a behind the scenes tour that I did. Oh yeah, Josh, you know what? I didn't know Benartex had a solid line until I was an ambassador for them last year. I was like, what? And their fabric is really, like, it's not rough, but it's not like silk either. It's just this, it just feels so good. There's not really hardly any fraying on it. And so these are all the new colors. I didn't count them. I think it was like maybe 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 40 colors. Right? 8 times 5, that's 40. So, and y'all, I actually got to name 14 of them. I got to name 14 of them because they go with my collection that's releasing, and so I'll have a bundle. It's got a name on it that I'll be releasing, so I get to kind of release that with my collection, and they kind of go together. But these are some of their new colors that they didn't have that they added. And I don't know how well this shows up for you guys, because sometimes everyone's screens have a little bit different colors, but this was in their trends, spring trends lookbook here. So these are all the fabrics that were shown at H&H Americas that will be coming out, let's see, yeah, in the spring. So, and here they are. So they even have, look at this, solids and flannel. Whoops, the screen froze. Okay, let's fix this. Deactivate, activate. Here we go. Quilt Husband showed me what to do when the camera freezes. So y'all can get solids, but in flannel. All of these right here. All of these are solids in flannel. So Josh, definitely try these out, but these are all the new colors here that are gonna be added to all of the ones that were in this one. So I know kind of there was like, I know there's other fabric companies that have solids, and I've tried a lot of different ones. And I tell you what, I had no idea Benartex had them till last year when I became an ambassador. So, hey there, Valerie, welcome. It's okay if you're a little late. We did the needlebook tutorial, so a lot of people may have already left that just came for that. We're gonna have a giveaway of a whole binding set here in a few minutes. And I was actually just showing people the Benartex solids. So some people did not know they have like a huge collection of solids. And I gave everybody the look from H&H America in the lookbook of all their new solids that are gonna be added, and then the solids in flannel. So yeah, y'all, great things happening over there at Benartex. So you should give them a try. And I'll be doing, you know, some giveaways. As stuff comes out, you know, that I get my hands on, I'll be doing giveaways of those kind of things, you know, for people to try. Yeah, aren't those good colors? They have really great colors. And I'm really excited about my bundle. Mine is of, I think it's 14 colors. And those are all colors in my new fabric collection. Yeah, you didn't know that either, right? I guess I need to start mentioning that more. I mean, I'm with Benartex, so now, of course, I'm partial, but here's the thing about me. If there's something that I don't like, then I don't promote it. If it doesn't work well for me or I don't care for it, then it's not something that I, you know, feel honest about saying, here's this great thing, if I really, you know, had a problem with it. But I really do like their fabrics. They're really good quality. They're really soft. So my point was that if you like solids, but you want something with some texture, another option for you is whisper weave. So you guys saw me today work with blush houndstooth. Whisper weave is this other one here, and this is like, I haven't decided for sure what I'm gonna do with all of these. I have to test out my next, I have 2 patterns coming up with my collection that'll come out with my collection. And one is a free pattern, and then the other one will be a pattern for purchase. And one of them takes 25 fat quarters, which is gonna be a scrappy version. So I think I'm actually gonna use this to test out that pattern, that free pattern. So anyway, that's kind of the plan for these. So Nancy Halverson, Whisper Weave is that one. All right, y'all, well, let's do a giveaway. Okay, so I took Susan's advice last time, y'all. Let me just be honest with you. Until I'm monetizing enough, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for me to pay for a subscription for these fancy pick your winner things. I just started monetizing last week, and it's slow, right? So you make like $50 a month for a while until it grows. And some of those subscriptions are about that much a month. So we're trying to do like the free route for a little bit until I kind of get that going. And we tried a little spinny wheel thing, and it takes like 3 minutes to pick the person, which is bizarre. So then Friday I did a giveaway, and I was holding the pad up here, and some people said they could tell like the number I was writing, and it wasn't really fair. So we did another one, and I felt bad for Lori because Lori wrote the number first, but then other people were like, we could tell what you were writing. So I was like, let's just do it again. So we did it again. So that's what I've done. Susan suggested, why don't you write the number down before the show starts, which I did. I have a number written down over on a pad over here that you guys can't see because my little head over here is covering it. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you write a word. There's gonna be a word I'm gonna have you write in the chat. And I have to give it about like a minute because y'all are 22 seconds behind me. So when I'm talking, I'm seeing in real time what's happening in chat, and I'm seeing myself in real time, but you all are seeing it all 22 seconds later. So when you hear me say write the word, then I've actually gonna kind of just talk for just, a little bit to make sure I see, not write the word, the first person to write the number, to guess the number, not the word. Then I'll be able to see who wrote the number first. So that's how I'm picking the winner until we can come up with finding the least expensive subscription that will pull all of y'all's names out of like the chat and pick the winner randomly, if that makes sense. So there's still a lot Belle's learning here. But I do want to say thank you guys for subscribing and following along and all of that. I think it's fun to win things. And, you know, I have sponsors for the show, and sometimes I buy things. Sometimes I'm giving things for free, and I'll just kind of pass that on to you guys, okay? All right, so I've got my number picked out. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to guess a number between, now don't write it yet. You're going to guess a number between 1 and 25 when I say go. And then I'm going to talk a little bit, and whoever writes it first, so everybody has a chance to hear it, then I'll pick the winner, and I will send you this whole set here. You'll get that if you're in the United States. If you're outside the United States, then what'll happen is if you don't want to participate because you don't want to pay shipping, then just don't put a number in there. But shipping is so expensive, stuff gets lost. Sometimes you can be charged duty and all of tariffs. Even my husband, like, you can be charged a tariff and it's just a one-time gift. Like, that happened to him the other day. So it gets a little complicated. But anyway, what you'll do is whoever wins, you'll just email me, and Cool Husband will put my email address in there for you with your address. And if you're out of the country, then I'll reply back with a PayPal link if you want to pay the shipping to get it. All right? All right, so pick a number between 1 and 25 and enter that in the chat, and whoever gets it first, here we go, will be the winner. All right? All right, here we go. Here we go. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Nobody's got it yet. There we go. Oh, it was Christy, and Christy already has one. So Christy, do you want another one? Christy got it. So here it is. This was the number. It was number 1. It was number 1. Christy wins. I guess Christy does want another one. You can give it to one of your friends, or maybe you have 2 stations that you could use. All right. Well, congratulations, Christy. She said she's used this before, and it works great. So email me at belle@seamsome.com with your address, and you can gift it. Okay, you're going to gift it to somebody. That's really sweet. All right, well, that makes a good gift for somebody. Well, congratulations. Just email me to claim your prize, and I'll send this your way. Oh, your daughter, she's a quilter? Yeah, that'll be a great gift for sure. I'll email this out tomorrow with the rest of my shipping, so you'll get that. Y'all, I will be actually out of town this week, so I'll be heading out of town Thursday through Sunday. So there won't be a Thread Life with Belle Friday or Saturday, but I'll be back here on Monday. You can be looking for the thumbnail on what's going to be happening on Monday for sure. And congratulations, Christy. Thank you for, oh, Megan. Megan became a Thread Master. Thank you, Megan. I'm so glad you became a Thread Master. For those of you hanging out wondering what that all is about, there will be private videos, private lives, and sometimes private videos that are recorded for just Thread Master members. And a lot of that will involve behind the scenes stuff I'm doing that I can show. You'll get to see it first. So my fabric collections, I'll be having large giveaways with my sponsors. So we've got Arrow Sewing, so they've got a really nice chair. We've got Aliso irons. I've got a lot of Havel's supplies and stuff. So it'll be some good giveaways. So you might want to consider, it's $4.99 a month to be a Thread Master member. And what happens is you'll see little stars next to people's names, and they change colors the longer they've been. You can be a Thread Sprout, and you can see a list there, kind of all the little fun things you get to do. We're working on emojis to make special emojis for you guys. But there will be special private videos for some of you that want some extra special stuff that are subscribed as members. So thank you all so much. And I'm getting ready to order stickers. So for those of you that become Threadmaster members, you'll get a Thread Life with Belle sewing machine tattoo sticker. I'm working on those. So I'll let you know when they come out, and then I will send those out to people for free. Okay? All right, friends. Well, let's see what we've got going on over here in the chats. Oh, there's Macon. Hey, Colleen. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're getting ready to kind of close out for the day, but y'all can watch the recording if you're just now joining on all of the fun things that kind of we did today and we talked about. I will be back next Monday, okay, because I'm going to be out of town. For those of you that are part of the beginner quilt sampler that I'm doing, that will come out on Sunday, June 1st, your block for June. And although that's closed right now for that, I'm actually considering opening that to the Threadmaster members, that I'll give you the past patterns for those blocks. And so I've just kind of get all of that sorted. Right now, everybody's getting one block a month on the first of every month. And by the end of the year, you'll have a sampler quilt. And let me show you. I'll show y'all the picture of it if you want to do it. I'm going to make it to where those that are Threadmasters can get the back blocks and go ahead and do it, even though it's really closed to everybody else. And then we'll have prizes at the end of the year. So let me show you. This is it. So this is the beginner quilt sampler, and these are all the blocks that we're making. So this is the 9-patch we're doing for June. So we're halfway through the year. Christy, thank you for becoming a Threadmaster. Oh, appreciate your support so much. Thank you, Christy. Anyway, I am using solids. So this is an example of using solids, and it looks super cool in solids, I think. Yeah, so this is what we're doing. So when you become a Threadmaster member, I've got to look on the back end to make sure I'll have everybody's email addresses, and I got to kind of work that out to figure out how to get that to you guys as Threadmaster. So just be patient with me to do that in June, as just kind of a bonus for you guys to be able to do this, even though I've closed it to everybody else. I think I have 650 people that are making this, and I'm actually doing 2 versions. Let me show you. I'm doing one in linen, and then I'm doing one in the Benartec solids. So this is the churn dash. This was last month's block, the churn dash. And I'm using actually some of my branding colors. This looks probably red to y'all, but it's actually a terracotta and pink. But this is cottonier. And I'd bought these fabrics before I got with Benartec, and I've always wanted to try to sew really with like linen blend, because it's a little different of a weave. And you do have to use a lot of starch, and you also have to use a thinner stitch length as well when you sew with linen. So I'm practicing. So I'm actually making 2 at the same time. This one's gonna be mine. What I've learned is when you wash these quilts become really, really soft. So, and Benartec actually has a linen cotton blend. I just found out just a couple months ago, so I need to get some of theirs as well to try out. So I'm doing 2 simultaneously. So all my blocks are over on the design wall, and I've got all mine going on because I'm making them along with you all. All right. Okay, so you guys, thank you for our 2 new Threadmasters that joined. Let me see here. It's Christy and then also Megan. Welcome to Thread Life with Belle, and for your membership and your subscription. I hope that all of you have a fabulous rest of your day, and y'all stay safe, because I know it's a little bit dangerous out there with this tornadic weather, right? It is a little scary. All right, quilty friends. Well, thank you for being here with me today. I hope you get some more time in your sewing studio. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here with me. And until next time, quilty friends, make lovely things.